Hey, thanks for tuning in. My name is Tammy Davis, and if you're new to me, welcome. If you've seen me before, thank you for coming back. I appreciate your contribution to the work that I'm doing in the world. And I'm going to take a moment to introduce myself. It's been a while since I've actually done that up front. So again, my name is Tammy Davis. I am the founder of Revolutionary Aromatherapy, and the reason I'm coming to you today is because I've been asked several times now, what is revolutionary aromatherapy? These people tend to come from schools of thinking when it comes to aromatherapy. They've worked with essential oils, they're familiar with them. I even had a meeting yesterday within a school to begin presenting this to health professionals. And it was the same question, somebody who had hailed from doTERRA as well as Young Living and wanted to know what was different about what we're doing here. And so ultimately, revolutionary aromatherapy is a functional model. It factors in the body's ability, the brain and body's ability. It connects the brain and body in such a way, and it supports the signaling, epigenetic signaling, that is will either activate or deactivate inflammation. Like I said, it's a functional model, and it takes into consideration everything about you. I think it was Leonardo da Vinci that actually said initially, possibly, I could be mistaken, that everything is connected. And we hear that a lot today. We hear that we're all connected, but in what way are we connected? Because when you open your eyes and you look, we all look separate, right? This actually comes about from an experience I had yesterday where I live just outside of Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I was exposed to a lot of homelessness yesterday. And I'm going to write more about this. But when you look at a homeless person or you see homelessness, you see yourself as separate. Now, we have encouragement to see yourself in others. I know there's one particular very prolific writer who comments about when he sees somebody in a situation that maybe he doesn't know himself to be in currently, he can say, there I go again. So this is about really allowing the world to reflect you back to you. And that is one way that we can say that we're connected. But in the context of homelessness, in the context of homelessness, what is it that really connects us? And this is the thing that connects us to all of nature. And this is really the premise of revolutionary aromatherapy, which is what it feels like. It's not, can you see yourself in someone who's homeless? It's, can you feel the feelings of someone who's homeless? Can you observe without judgment the hustle and bustle, the rat race going on around them, the people sidestepping them, the people maybe looking at them out of the corner of their eye, feeling either paranoid or suspicious? Can you feel that? Can you feel what it feels like in your own body to have that experience? This is how we are connected, because when we get into that feeling mode, we are creating or stimulating the production of chemicals within us that generate these sensations. This is how you and I are connected. This is how you are connected to your pets. This is how you are connected to your family members and your friends and your coworkers. This is how you're connected to the plants and trees outside. This is what connects us all. And the fact that we live in a highly estrogenic world, and by that I mean not just man-made chemicals. I mean, at this point, the count is well over 70,000 chemicals are confirmed endocrine disruptors. We also have natural chemicals, which include essential oils, that will activate that estrogenic activity. And up until about 2015, it was believed and talked about that estrogen was merely a feminine reproductive hormone. Nothing could be, that's crap. That's absolute crap. Because men have estrogen in them as well. And there's more to this, because if estrogen is only an anti-inflammatory hormone, as the studies were suggesting up until 2014, then why in the world are we developing breast cancer? Why in the world are we developing prostate cancer, because part of my background includes epigenetics. And in that epigenetic studies, we are able to confirm that there's a very specific enzyme in the liver that must metabolize estrogen in such a way that it is either further used by the body for other purposes or eliminated. And if it's not happening at that level, it becomes toxic. Therein lies breast and prostate cancer alone. They've also been able to locate or identify estrogen is involved in autoimmune disorders. And now, subsequently, since 2015, there's further investigation into the role of toxic forms or inflammatory forms of estrogen that are linked to schizophrenia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and so on. So, as an anti-inflammatory hormone, estrogen is neuroprotective. It actually helps with brain health. In an inflammatory role, it creates degeneration. And because it's neuroprotective, the degeneration that we're seeing is along the lines, as I said, schizophrenia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, autoimmune, which are all linked to degeneration of the nervous system and the signaling. And it also activates immune reactions. So here we come back to autoimmune. So, which is going to amplify histamine levels, which is going to continue to prolong that stress response. Now, what does this have to do with anything when it comes to essential oils? Well, again, the responsible use of them is going to hand select oils that are best suited for your body, depending on how it is reacting to the world. And I want to say a little bit more about that, because what we learned back in the 30s and 40s, 1930s and 40s, was the fact that the DNA have something referred to as transponal elements. Francis Crick identified them as jumping genes, or they were called jumping genes, pardon me. And Dr. Barbara McClintock and her team were the ones who identified these segments of DNA that will relocate spontaneously without human intervention. And this is happening prior to conception and germination. In her initial findings, it was happening in seeds prior to germination, but they've been able to subsequently show this in prior to conception. So it's happening in the ovum, it's happening in the sperm. And she finally received a Nobel Prize back in the 80s. So I say all of this because they've also been able to show that a significant change to the human genome came along the times of the Black Plague. Again, no human intervention, but the immune system adapted in such a way that you and I are still here. So these are significant, this is significant evidence to demonstrate that your DNA, your epigenome, is able to adapt as needed. That is why it is the stress response. But if this is happening prior to the conception, that means the blueprint for your brain was established before you were conceived. And as you developed, your unique brain began to wire itself, and it was formed, I should say, it developed along the lines of emotional reactions that you were experiencing through your mother that was in relation to herself and to the world around. So no two brains operate the same way. Dr. Amen and some of his team were able to show that no matter how many people walked in with clinical depression or anxiety and they imaged the brains, none of the brains were operating in the same way. That is another reason why we want to begin to select things that are more custom, more personalized to your unique needs. So that means how your brain is processing information is very, very unique. And because we live in such an estrogenic world, and with the emotional volatility also signifies a heightened level of estrogenic activity, we are being inundated. So using oils that do not promote estrogenic activity is beyond necessary. It's absolutely necessary that we start doing this, because no mindset, no mindfulness is going to influence the epigenome at the rate and the ability of an essential oil. I've devoted the last 15 to 20 years of identifying their unique properties as individual oils. No two oils do the very same thing. And so we want to begin to incorporate them. We want to teach our children how to do this. And I can honestly tell you, based on how judgmental and hypercritical I was of myself, as well as the world around, they fundamentally transformed my ability to stop thinking about things and start feeling things. And that is the reason why when I look at homelessness and we hear it to be a mental health issue, it's not just a mental health issue, it's a societal issue. It's a societal contagion that is infecting people at such a degree that it's impacting all of us. And how can we begin to see this as something, as an opportunity for us to really take care of ourselves emotionally so that we can become more profoundly impactful in their lives? We can't change their lives. We can't change their past. We may not even be able to change their circumstances, but we can certainly change the way we react to them and ultimately create a ripple effect in the world that is one that is meaningful for many, many people. So all of a sudden I got a really strange feeling. So I'm going to go turn this off for now. And I'm going to wish you well. Let me know if you have any questions about this, because this is really the role of responsible aromatherapy and revolutionary aromatherapy. It's creating a paradigm shift in such a way that we are taking responsibility for ourselves so that we can show up differently. Because when you take responsibility for the way you think and emote, you change the way you speak, you change the way you write, you change the way you interact with others. And this is how we create the ripple effect of prosperity and wellness for all. So I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much for being here. Until later, take exquisite care.